Hello there, this is Rom Wills coming back at you with yet another video. Men, get a side hustle. Seriously. This is something, man. This is one of those videos. I know I'm usually speaking to the brothers, but I got brothers from other mothers on here. And this is just in general for men. Men, I don't care what your background is. And you know what? There's even a message here for women. Um, get your side hustle going. Cause I'm gonna tell you what. I was just talking with a protege last night, right? And we chop it every time we talk. Get a chance to talk. We chop it up for about a couple of hours, and he was talking about some of the hustles he's on. And look, before I go further, let me explain the word hustle. Hustle is anything you doing for money, even if you work at a 9 to 5. If you work in a 9 to 5, that's your hustle. I knew this guy. He owned a couple like takeout places where he sold buffalo wings. He said he hustled chicken. He looked at me. He said, "Rom, you hustle books. Whatever you sell, whatever you do, that's your hustle." So just so we got that clear, let me go forward. Every man needs to have some type of hustle, and this ain't for like some pickup purposes, meeting women and all of that. Even though I talk about that in my book, Nice Guys and Players, and also how it helps for a man to have, it, something that he can control, for his own mental health, his own confidence. But this is for a more practical matter. I know some people happy that Trump got elected, and they think all of a sudden the economy is going to be fixed. Those trade agreements ain't going to go anywhere, y'all. And though he saved some jobs in Indiana, that same company is still shipping some stuff out to Mexico. Look it up. The economy is changing. That's the bottom line. The economy is changing. Those factories aren't coming back because these multinational corporations. It's easier to pay somebody $1 in some impoverished country than it is to pay somebody $20 in benefits in middle America. Because the corporations are about making money. They don't care about that flag, especially when their headquarters is in Europe somewhere. Let's just keep it 100. It's cheaper for them to do business overseas. So those trade agreements aren't going any place. I don't care what any politician tells you. This world is run by capitalists who are trying to make money, billionaires. If any politician goes against that, they will have an unfortunate accident. Mark my words. So forget about that. And another factor to consider, not only with the jobs going out of the country at a steady rate, but more things are being automated. Because if you look at a lot of stuff, like if you look at a lot of factories, they can be manned by robots. If you go to grocery stores, they don't, with self checkout stuff like that, they don't need as many workers. Online shopping, that's really disruptive to the retail industry. So you're gonna see a lot of major department stores start to lose out a lot. I mean, there's so many things which affects jobs because, see, here's the thing. You have to realize one thing affects another thing. So say you have a small town, right? They got a factory there. It might say it employs 200 people. It moves to Guatemala or something, right? All of a sudden, not only are those people, the men and women who worked in that factory, out of a job, but any secondary businesses that serve that factory out of business as well. Like you have like I don't know, any food places or little grocery stores, side stores, even little clothing stores. If that main business goes out of business, they're affected too. Now, I don't want to talk about all that. I could, but I'll save that for another channel. If I do another channel, it'll be all on business and economics. The thing every man has to do is figure out what type of side hustle he can do, even if he has a well-paying job, because things can change quickly. You could be in, and I've seen this. I've seen people be in jobs. Been in jobs for 20 odd years. All of a sudden, their company, usually a major company, does some type of restructuring. Every man, especially for a man's self-esteem and just to have some control, it's like need to think, all right, what else can I do to make money? And preferably, it'll be something that he can provide a service for, and it could be anything. It could be painting. I remember when I was living with my grandmother growing up. She would give dudes, men, like a chance to do like some contracting work around her house, even if they had little experience. To her detriment, sometime I hate to say, but she was willing to do it. It's like how many men out there know they can like do some drywall or something like that. That could be a little business, just painting. A lot of people don't like to do stuff for themselves. Cutting grass. I know this one dude, older brother. That dude hooked up he was in the DC area, and you got a lot of single black women down there who own their own houses, but they ain't trying to cut their grass. That dude hooked into that whole thing. And speaking of those single black women, I've known quite a few black women who they might have a government job or something, or some regular 9 to 5 job, but on the side they'll make meals for people. Start thinking. Every man listening to this video need to think about what type of thing they can do. It could be cooking, could be I don't know, ironing clothes, anything, cutting heads. Even though I'm not a professional barber, I've actually cut heads before. Like I said, I ain't a professional barber, and I leave any hair cutting to my son, just cutting my son's hair. But I actually thought about that. If shit got real bad, like I'd shoot. I'd be like, you know what? I know right where to go. I know some barbers. They actually have a training program. You could do that. You got some of these hood girls. They might just do. I've actually known women who might have been getting welfare or something, still like doing braiding hair on the side. And so if the women could do some stuff, men can do it. And you don't have to. It could be anything, literally anything. I just saw something with Uber. They got a program now. You can deliver packages, because I know I don't like a bunch of people in my car, so. I was looking at it. I was like, well, shit. If I ever need extra money, because it ain't like I do this all day. So it's like, shoot, get out there, drop some packages off somewhere. Shoot, and I'm predicting now that's gonna get big, because there's a lot of people who got some cars and need some extra money, but don't want, they don't want some strangers in their car, and. If you combine that with the reality that online shopping has become big, even to the point online grocery delivery has gotten big, shoot. Somebody could do that. Somebody could rent out their cars, use their car. In fact, that's kind of old, because I remember when I was younger, and there was a period of living with my grandmother. Well, I ain't going to get into why, but there was no car, and for whatever reason, she never learned how to drive. But she would still get rides. She'd go to the grocery store, and there was always an older brother there who was able to drive. He would drive like people home who didn't have a car, and you just give him a tip. Funny story. I rode with that Bama one time, and he had me a little scared, because I ain't never seen anybody could go from point A to point B, catch every light. Catch every light. Came to rolling stops at stop signs. It was almost like he ain't stopped. Maybe he was afraid the car was going to stop if he stopped. Then that dude managed to get from point A to point B without actually having to stop. And I was just like, damn. It's like every time. I think I rode with dude 3 or 4 times, and at one point did he have a stop. He was like, I don't know, something about him. He could catch every light, Never came to a full stop at a stop sign. But, not to get too much into that craziness, that dude, that was his hustle. You know? I remember my step grandfather, when he hung around, that dude, I used to hate if I saw a tow truck coming. I used to hate it because it was some like raggedy car was being dragged behind it that he had bought for like little to no money, and he get my ass out there sanding the side of some rusted ass car. It used to get on my nerves, but that dude to fix that shit up and sell it. So that was his hustle. And in fact, I remember I had some trouble with a car a while ago, and I didn't take it to a regular mechanic, because at the moment I was like money challenged and being cheap anyway. That dude, I remember there was some trouble with it. That dude just had me rev the engine a couple times. He pulled a couple things. He said, "Boy, you just need a tune up there." Right? Took him to the store, got some stuff to fix the spark plugs and all of that. And I remember while we were driving and stuff, the dude was listening to, well, oh yeah, you need your wheel balance too. But that dude was making money though. That was his hustle. So you know what? Everybody need to get something. Just think about what you can do, no matter how small. You know. Shoot, one hustle I had in college and stuff, I write term papers for some people. Some people graduate because of my ass. So, you know. So it's do something, figure out something, because don't trust, and I want to be very serious right here. Don't trust what the media is telling you, what politicians are telling you. Make sure there's always some way to make some money. Even if you work in a 9-to-5 job, try to figure out even if it's what you happy in, what you're doing. The thing is, unless you own that business, you need to figure out another way to make some money, because it's getting crucial out this joint. Now, I know a lot of people thinking this be some total collapse. I'm gonna be honest, I don't think there will be. The reason why, a lot of these billionaires wouldn't make money in a collapse, so they'll do whatever to keep shut propped up. But they ain't gonna lose any sleep if 3 or 4 people sleeping in an apartment, or you got about 5 families sharing a big house or something. They don't care, as long as they get their cut, and they don't care how you live. So if you want any man who really just wants to assure his future, always have that backup. Have that little thing you can do. Work on it. And you know what? Just working on it, it might be what you meant to do anyway. And you never know. Depending on what it is, you might be able to turn it into a business and have some real freedom. All right? So anyway, get that side hustle going. You never know where it can lead you. Anyway, I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.